Life does not stop moving because you feel broken. The world doesn't slow down to comfort you. It doesn't hold your hand when you're lost, and it will never pause to give you a second chance simply because you're hurting. That pain you carry, nobody is coming to take it away. That weight on your shoulders, it's yours to lift. And if you keep sitting there drowning in self-pity, all you're doing is wasting the one thing you'll never get back, time. You've already been through the struggle. You've already felt the pain. So why not turn it into fuel instead of chains? Stop feeling sorry for yourself, because sympathy doesn't build empires. Tears don't pay bills, and weakness never inspires respect. Every scar on your body, every betrayal, every lonely night is not a curse. It's proof that you survived. Proof that you were strong enough to get here. But strength means nothing if you bury it under excuses. The truth is brutal but freeing. No one cares about your sad story. They care about your results. And until you decide that enough is enough, until you stand up and declare war on your own weakness, your life will remain exactly where it is. Self-pity is the silent poison that robs a person of their potential long before failure or defeat ever does. It creeps in when life doesn't go your way, when plans collapse, when people betray you, or when challenges feel too heavy to carry. In those moments, instead of standing tall and pushing harder, many choose the easier route, curling up inside their misery, replaying their misfortune, and convincing themselves that the world owes them something. But here's the reality. Self-pity destroys discipline. And without discipline, there can be no progress, no growth, no success, and no victory. Discipline is the foundation of achievement. It is the ability to act according to what you know must be done, not according to how you feel in the moment. Discipline makes you wake up early even when your body screams for more sleep. Discipline pushes you to the gym when your mind invents 1,000 excuses to stay home. Discipline demands that you keep grinding when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one even cares. Yet the moment you allow self-pity to take over, all of that discipline collapses. Why? Because self-pity whispers lies that justify weakness. It tells you you've been through enough, take it easy. It convinces you it's not your fault, you deserve a break, and slowly, without realizing, you trade consistency for comfort, sacrifice for excuses, and growth for stagnation. Progress is never an accident. It is the product of deliberate, consistent, disciplined action. Think about anyone who has ever achieved greatness in any field. None of them arrived there by chance. They didn't sit around feeling sorry for themselves when life was unfair. They didn't collapse under the weight of rejection, loss, or struggle. Instead, they used those very moments of pain as fuel to work harder. But when you let self-pity dictate your actions, progress dies. You stop moving forward because your focus shifts inward, obsessing over your wounds instead of your goals. You can't build anything when all your energy is spent convincing yourself why you can't. The saddest part about self-pity is how deceptive it is. It feels comforting in the moment. It makes you feel safe, as though wrapping yourself in your own sorrow somehow protects you from the world. But in reality, it's a trap. It steals your willpower, it clouds your perspective, and it chains you to the very problems you wish to escape. Every day you indulge in it, discipline becomes weaker and progress becomes more distant. Before you know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and years into wasted time. And nothing is more painful than looking back and realizing you were the one holding yourself back all along. Discipline and self-pity cannot coexist. One builds, the other destroys. One forges strength, the other manufactures excuses. One leads to success, the other ensures mediocrity. That's why every time you feel that wave of self-pity rising, you must fight it with ruthless intensity. Ask yourself, does sitting here feeling sorry for myself solve anything? Does crying about my problems fix them? Or does standing up, taking action, and moving forward give me a chance to change my circumstances? The answer is always action. Every person who has risen above average has faced moments where self-pity called to them. The difference is they refused to listen. They understood that progress requires sacrifice, and sacrifice demands discipline. They knew that if they allowed themselves to drown in sorrow, they would never climb out. You cannot conquer the world if you cannot conquer your own emotions. And self-pity is the emotion that drags you down the fastest. When you live in self-pity, you blind yourself to opportunities. You stop noticing doors opening because you are too focused on the ones that closed. You overlook your own strength because you're obsessed with your weakness. But when you choose discipline over self-pity, You force yourself to rise, to learn, to grow, and to become someone unrecognizable compared to the person you were yesterday. That is progress. Not always dramatic, not always visible to others, but undeniable to you. And it only comes when you refuse to surrender to that destructive voice inside. At the end of the day, life is brutally simple. Either you control your mind or your mind controls you. Either you discipline yourself to act regardless of pain, or you fall victim to self-pity and waste years waiting for someone else to save you. Progress demands ownership. It demands responsibility. It demands that you strip away every excuse, every justification, and every story you've told yourself about why you can't, and replace it with action. Self-pity is not just weakness, it is betrayal. Betrayal of your potential, your goals, and your future self. You owe it to yourself to stop indulging in it. Because the moment you abandon self-pity and embrace discipline, everything changes. You regain control. You start moving forward. And most importantly, you prove to yourself that nothing, no pain, no setback, no betrayal can keep you from becoming unstoppable. Would you like me to expand this series by writing each of the other 4 keynotes? Pain must become fuel. No one cares about excuses. Strength is built by action, ownership, and fight, into their own 800-word speeches as well. In the same motivational style, pain is life's greatest teacher, but only if you choose to listen. Too many people let pain break them, hold them down, and chain them to the very moments they wish to escape. They replay the betrayal, the loss, the failure, and they let it define who they are. Pain becomes an anchor, dragging them deeper into despair, keeping them from ever moving forward. But pain is not meant to be an anchor. Pain must be turned into fuel. It must become the fire that pushes you to work harder, train harder, think sharper, and rise higher than you ever thought possible. Every person who has built greatness has faced crushing pain, but instead of letting it weigh them down, they used it as the very energy to move forward. Think about it. Without pain, there is no urgency, no hunger, no reason to change. Comfort has never built warriors. Easy lives never produce strong people. It is pain that forces you to grow, pain that pushes you beyond your limits, and pain that molds you into someone capable of enduring more than you ever imagined. When you suffer, you have 2 choices. You either let it consume you or you let it ignite you. The difference between the broken and the successful is not who suffered more, it is who decided to use that suffering as a weapon instead of a weakness. When pain becomes an anchor, it paralyzes you. You replay the memories, you dwell on what happened, and you convince yourself that life is unfair. You begin to justify inaction with the excuse of being wounded. You stop taking risks because you are too afraid to hurt again. You become trapped in the prison of your own mind, chained to moments that are already gone. That's why so many people never escape mediocrity. They allow pain to bury them instead of allowing pain to propel them. But when you decide that pain will be fuel, everything changes. You start seeing every struggle as a gift. Every heartbreak is training. Every setback is preparation. The weight that once held you down becomes the resistance that builds your strength. Think about lifting in the gym. Without resistance, without weight, you would never grow muscle. Pain is the same. It is life adding weight to your shoulders so you can build the strength to carry more, endure more, and achieve more. But just like in the gym, the choice is yours. You can complain about the weight or you can pick it up and let it shape you. Pain as fuel means waking up earlier because you remember what it felt like to fail. It means pushing harder in the gym because you remember the shame of being weak. It means working longer hours because you refuse to feel the sting of poverty again. It means staying disciplined because you know how destructive it was to lose focus. Every ounce of pain becomes a reminder, not of your suffering, but of your power. You transform hurt into hunger, loss into drive, scars into stories of victory. Greatness has always been born from pain. Athletes who rise to the top do it because losing once burned so deeply that they vowed never to feel it again. Leaders who inspire nations are often people who came from nothing, who suffered humiliation and hardship so severe that it carved unshakable strength into their character. Innovators who changed the world often did so after rejection and ridicule cut so deep that the only answer was to fight harder. In every story of triumph, there is pain, and in every story of failure, there is pain as well. The only difference is how it was used. Pain as an anchor blinds you, convinces you that you are powerless. Pain as fuel sharpens your vision, showing you exactly what needs to be done. Pain as an anchor keeps you in the past. Pain as fuel drives you toward the future. Pain as an anchor makes you weak. Pain as fuel makes you unstoppable. The truth is, pain never disappears. You will carry it with you in some form forever, but you decide whether you carry it as a chain that holds you down or as a torch that lights your way forward. No one is exempt from suffering, but not everyone transforms it. That is why the world is divided between those who rise and those who stay broken. When life hits you, don't ask, why me? Ask, what now? Don't waste time begging for things to be easier. Make yourself stronger. Don't bury your pain in distractions. Don't drown it in self-pity. Harness it. Use it. Let it remind you of who you refuse to be ever again. Let it fuel the discipline to keep going when everyone else quits. Let it fuel the hunger to demand more of yourself every single day. Pain is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the raw material out of which unshakable strength, relentless discipline, and true greatness are forged. When you decide that pain is no longer an anchor, but the fuel to drive you forward, you become untouchable. The world can throw its worst at you, but instead of sinking, you'll rise higher, faster, and stronger. Pain will no longer be your weakness. It will be your weapon. Excuses are the comfort food of failure. They taste good in the moment. They make you feel justified, but they do nothing to feed your future. Every time you open your mouth to explain why you didn't do something, why you couldn't start, why you quit halfway, you're building walls around your own potential. And the harsh truth you need to face is this: no one cares about your excuses. People only care about results. The world doesn't reward effort without outcome. It doesn't celebrate intentions without execution. And it doesn't hand out medals for almost trying. Results are what speak. Results are what inspire respect. Results are what prove your worth. Everything else is noise. Think about it. When you look at the most successful people in the world, do you ever stop to ask them about the obstacles they faced? Maybe out of curiosity, yes, but what you admire is not their excuses. You admire their results. You admire the fact that they overcame whatever challenges they had. Everyone has problems. Everyone has a story filled with setbacks, tragedies, betrayals, and failures. But results erase excuses. When someone wins, no one cares what they went through to get there. All that matters is that they showed up, fought, and came out victorious. Excuses are seductive because they remove accountability. They shift the blame onto external factors: time, circumstances, other people, bad luck. They create a narrative where you are the victim, powerless to control your outcome. But here's the reality: excuses don't change your life. They don't make your bank account grow. They don't build your body. They don't sharpen your mind. And they don't get you closer to your goals. Excuses keep you stuck in the exact same place you are today. Results, on the other hand, move you forward. Results don't care how tired you were, how stressed you felt, or how unfair life seemed. Results come only to those who take action regardless of the excuses. When you lean on excuses, you are subconsciously admitting to yourself that the problem was not important enough to fix. If your dreams truly mattered, you wouldn't find reasons why you can't. You'd find ways why you must. Every excuse is a declaration that you value comfort over progress. And the longer you live in excuses, the weaker you become. You teach your brain to surrender before the battle even begins. You train yourself to accept mediocrity as normal. Before long, excuses aren't just words you tell others. They become the lies you tell yourself until you believe them. But here's the thing. Nobody else is keeping track of your excuses. They don't matter to anyone but you. People are too busy chasing their own goals, fighting their own battles, and building their own lives to stop and sympathize with your reasons for not winning. They judge you by one thing and one thing only: your results. You can either be the person who talks about what could have been or the person who shows what is. One is respected, the other is ignored. Results are unforgiving. They don't care if you worked hard but gave up. They don't care if you almost succeeded. They don't care if you had all the right intentions. Results are black and white. You either achieved them or you didn't. You either showed discipline or you didn't. You either won or you lost. And when you understand that brutal reality, you stop wasting your energy making excuses and start using that same energy to get things done. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they feel small at first. Skipping one workout because you were tired doesn't seem like much. Missing one opportunity because you were afraid doesn't feel catastrophic. Procrastinating on one project because you weren't ready doesn't seem life-changing, but excuses compound. Each one chips away at your progress until months pass, years pass, and you're still in the same place, angry at the world, but blind to the fact that you were the one who stopped yourself. On the flip side, results also compound. One disciplined action leads to another, one small win builds into bigger wins, and before you know it, momentum takes over and your results become undeniable. If you want to change your life, stop asking for sympathy and start demanding results. Stop telling people why you can't and start showing them that you can. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect and start executing with what you have right now. Success doesn't care if you're tired, broke, scared, or unprepared. Success rewards the person who shows up consistently, who refuses to accept excuses, and who measures their worth by results, not stories. At the end of your life, when you look back, you won't remember the excuses. You won't think about how unfair it was, how tired you felt, or how unlucky you were. You'll only see what you did or what you failed to do. And that is why you must make the choice today to cut excuses out of your life completely. Replace them with action. Replace them with consistency. Replace them with results. Because results are permanent. They speak louder than words. They silence doubt and they inspire belief, not only in others, but in yourself. Excuses will always leave you empty, but results will fill you with pride and power. No one cares about your excuses, only your results. And once you embrace that truth, nothing can stop you. Strength is never given. It is not handed out because you've suffered. It is not gifted to you because people feel sorry for you. And it is not born from sympathy. Strength is forged only in action. Every time you move forward despite fear, every time you push through fatigue, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are building strength. Sympathy may feel good for a moment, but it will never change your reality. People telling you it's okay or you've been through enough might comfort your ego, but it doesn't build muscle, it doesn't sharpen your mind, and it doesn't put food on the table. Action does. Action is the only thing that transforms pain into progress and weakness into power. The truth is, too many people crave sympathy because it's easier than doing the hard work. They want others to feel bad for them, to validate their excuses, to nod their heads, and agree that life has been unfair. And maybe life has been unfair. Maybe you've been hurt, betrayed, or broken more than most. But the world doesn't reward the broken for staying broken. The world rewards the ones who rebuild themselves. The ones who take all the cruelty and hardship they endured and turn it into fuel to fight harder. Sympathy is temporary comfort. Action is permanent transformation. Think about the strongest people you admire. Athletes, leaders, entrepreneurs, warriors. None of them got there because others felt sorry for them. In fact, most of them were doubted, criticized, laughed at, or even hated. What set them apart was not sympathy, but relentless action. They didn't wait for someone to understand their pain. They used that pain as a reason to move. They didn't wait for permission to rise. They forced themselves upward through consistency and effort. Strength was built one action at a time, one sacrifice at a time, one choice at a time. Action is the purest form of self-respect. When you act, you are telling yourself that you are capable of change, capable of growth, and worthy of success. When you sit still and beg for sympathy, you are telling yourself you're powerless, that your fate is out of your control. That is why people who live off sympathy never become strong. They keep replaying their pain like a broken record, but instead of building resilience, they weaken themselves by refusing to step forward. Strength doesn't grow in pity. It grows in struggle. You must understand that no one is coming to save you. No one will carry you to greatness. No one will fight your battles for you. Even if people care, even if they want to help, they cannot do the work for you. Strength is personal. It's something you earn through your own sweat, tears, and sacrifice. Every push-up you force out when your body wants to quit, every late night you work when your mind begs for sleep, every rejection you endure without stopping, that is strength. Those moments of action are what harden you into someone unshakable. Sympathy, on the other hand, is a trap. Because it teaches you to expect progress without paying the price. It convinces you that your pain is enough, that because you've suffered, you somehow deserve reward. But suffering is universal. Everyone suffers. The difference between those who rise and those who stay broken is action. One turns suffering into strength, the other milks it for sympathy. One becomes unstoppable, the other becomes forgotten. Strength is built when you do what needs to be done, not when you talk about doing it. Words don't make you stronger. Feelings don't make you stronger. Tears don't make you stronger. Action does. When you drag yourself out of bed on the days you don't want to, when you go to the gym even when your body aches, when you study, work, grind, and push beyond your limits, that's when you earn strength. And every time you take action, you're not just building physical or financial power, you're building mental toughness, the kind of strength that can't be shaken by anyone or anything. You will never respect yourself for the sympathy you received, but you will always respect yourself for the actions you took, the trophies, the achievements, the transformation, the confidence. All of it comes from doing. And here's the best part. The more you act, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the less you need sympathy. You stop caring about people understanding your struggle because your results speak louder than any words. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can spend your life chasing sympathy, hoping people feel bad enough for you to lower the standards, or you can rise above, choose action, and build yourself into someone who needs no sympathy at all because your strength is undeniable. Action is what builds you. Action is what defines you. Action is what transforms you from a victim into a victor. So stop searching for comfort in words and start creating power through deeds. Don't beg for people to feel sorry for you. Make them respect you. Don't wait for anyone to carry you. Carry yourself. Strength is not something you are given. It is something you earn every single day by choosing action over sympathy. And the moment you embrace that truth, you'll realize that there is no limit to what you can become. The only way forward in life is to take ownership and fight. There is no shortcut, no magic solution, no savior coming to lift you out of your struggles. The moment you realize that everything in your life, your failures, your weaknesses, your wasted time, is your responsibility, is the moment you finally gain the power to change it. Ownership is the foundation of growth. Until you accept that you are the reason you are where you are, you will always blame circumstances, luck, or other people. But the truth is, blaming will never fix anything. Blaming is easy, ownership is hard. Yet ownership is the only path that leads to transformation. Once you own your reality, you also own the ability to rewrite it. Life is a constant fight. It's not supposed to be easy. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness has faced battles that seemed impossible to win, but they didn't hide from them. They didn't wait for rescue, and they didn't waste time complaining. They fought. And fighting doesn't always mean aggression. It means persistence, resilience, and the refusal to quit when things get hard. It means standing tall even when you're exhausted. It means pushing forward even when every bone in your body tells you to give up. Fighting is not just about physical strength. It is about mental endurance, the ability to take hit after hit and still rise with determination. Ownership is brutal because it forces you to confront your flaws. It forces you to admit you wasted time, that you lacked discipline, that you allowed weakness to take over. Most people run from this truth because it hurts their ego. They prefer to point fingers and say, it's not my fault. But every time you do that, you give away your power. You make yourself a victim of life instead of the master of it. Taking ownership is painful, but it is liberating. Because once you admit you are the reason for your failures, you also realize you can be the reason for your success. That is where true strength begins. The fight begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. You stop saying I can't when the truth is I won't. You stop saying I didn't have time when the truth is I wasted time. You stop saying life is unfair when the truth is I haven't taken control. Ownership is about stripping away every excuse until all that remains is the truth. And with that truth, you gain clarity. You see exactly what needs to be done, and then the fight begins. To fight means to act. It means to do the things you know must be done, whether you feel like it or not. It means to endure discomfort, pain, and setbacks without quitting. It means to take full control of your life even when chaos surrounds you. Fighting is not glamorous. It's not about big, dramatic victories. It's about the small daily battles, waking up on time, sticking to your discipline, training when you're tired, working when you'd rather relax, saying no to distractions. Every day is a battlefield. And if you don't fight, you lose ground. The only way forward is through this fight. No one else can fight it for you. People may support you, encourage you, or inspire you. But at the end of the day, it's your battle. It's your choices, your actions, and your persistence that determine where you go. Ownership means understanding that your life is in your hands alone. Fighting means proving through your actions that you refuse to surrender, no matter what obstacles come your way. And make no mistake, Life will test you. It will knock you down. It will challenge your patience, your courage, and your willpower. There will be moments when giving up seems like the only option, but those are the moments that define you. Do you retreat into excuses, or do you rise and fight? Do you surrender to weakness, or do you sharpen your mind and push forward? The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never stop fighting. Ownership and fighting go hand in hand. Ownership without fight is just guilt. Fight without ownership is just blind effort. You need both. You must own your life completely, then fight every single day to make it better. That is the formula for progress. That is the mindset of a warrior, someone who doesn't beg for an easier path, but chooses to become stronger. The truth is simple. The world doesn't care about your excuses, your feelings, or your pain. It cares about what you produce, what you build, and what you become. The only way forward is to accept this reality, take full ownership, and step into the arena ready to fight. Stop waiting, stop hoping, stop blaming, start owning, start acting, start fighting. Because the moment you do, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and you become the creator of your destiny. At the end of the day, your life will not be remembered by the excuses you made, the sympathy you received, or the pain you endured. It will be remembered by the results you created, the battles you fought, and the strength you built. Every scar on your body, every hardship you survived, every sleepless night and broken moment was not meant to bury you, but to mold you into someone unshakable. You cannot afford to sit in self-pity. You cannot allow pain to anchor you, and you cannot waste time begging for understanding. The only way forward is through ownership and action. You are responsible for where you are, and you are responsible for where you go. No one else. That realization should not weaken you. It should empower you, because if it's your fault, then it's also your power to change. Stand up, stop waiting, stop complaining, and fight. Fight with discipline, fight with purpose, fight with relentless determination. And when the world looks at you, they will not see someone who begged for sympathy. They will see someone who refused to quit. That is true strength. That is true victory. And it can only be earned by you.